one of the damnedest things I ever saw, and I want to question you about what you're exactly on this. I was in Korea with a couple of my fighters when you were coaching Bob in that 8-man K1 tournament, if you remember that. Yeah. And Bob won that tournament. I never in a million years predicted Bob Sapp would win 3 matches in one night to win a K1 tournament. And I'll say, Sam, that if you weren't there literally screaming at him and metaphorically, and I hate to put it this way, this is not a challenge, this is an accolade. If you were treating him like a child, to my eyes, he wouldn't have won one fight, let alone 3. So what do you? It was the craziest thing, boss. You should have seen this, Bean. I don't know if you guys ever saw this tape. Sean, it's worth watching. If Bob wanted to quit, in my mind, every minute of that entire night. And if it wasn't for Sam Greco in his corner pushing and killing him, it wouldn't have happened. Is that? Go on.
I'll say this. I introduced Bob to K1 when we were wrestling over at WCW. After it folded, I took him over to K1. So I felt somewhat compelled as a friend to sort of lead him into, clear waters rather than murky waters. And one of the biggest things I said to Bob was, because he was worried about not working and what is he going to do with himself. And I said, would you like to fight? And when he said yes to me, his body said yes, but his heart said no. He was quite scared, and I don't know whether people know that. But getting ready for that fight, one of the biggest things was when he went over to Japan, I said, Bob, they're going to shower you with gifts. They'll end up spoiling you, right? And I knew that's exactly what happened. And when the Japanese couldn't deal with him anymore, they rang me up. They said, listen, we need you to come back and train this guy for these fights. So I gave them my conditions. And one of the conditions were that if we were to go over and fight for this tournament, Bob was not to stay in Japan. Bob was to come to Australia and train here. So what I did, I took Bob out of his comfort zone. He didn't like it at all. Didn't like it at all. But you know what? To get the best out of someone, you got to pull the carpet out from under their feet. We're involved in a sport where I'm going to beat you. It's not the wrestling. It's not me and you versus the crowd. It's me versus you, full stop. So I thought, in order for me to get the best out of him, I need to pull the carpet out from under him. I need to take away all these glamorous things that he's got, within reason, and put a training structure together. Because he was as strong as an ox, talented, but just lazy. That's what he was. And he got away with it for so long. But so I got back to Australia and we did things honestly that he actually scared me at one stage, his own strength, and he just flipped one day sparring. And I literally thought he hammer-fisted one of the guys over the top of the head. I thought he was going to pole drive him straight through the ring, and I had to pull him up. Bob's got some natural ability, but through his sheer laziness, that's where his problem lied. But we trained so hard for this fight. And one of the things that he was fit, as opposed to all his other fights. He was actually fit, mentally and physically. And yet again, the biggest belief was within himself. No one knows this, and I'll tell you this on air now, but most of the fights, even in Japan, that Bob fought, 2 hours before the event, I was in his room. Why? Trying to calm him down, because he didn't want to go out. He didn't want to fight. And that's
like Mike Tyson.
Yeah, he didn't want to fight. He was afraid of getting hurt. He really was. But little did he know the talent that this guy possessed was unbelievable. But he was scared of his own shadow. Great entertainer, great spokesperson. You can put a camera on him today and he'll run it straight off. Whereas I've got to study it and do everything else. He was just a natural. But when it came to fighting, there wasn't a chance. He just hated it. But when he trained hard and he got his mind right, Bob was fucking dangerous, very dangerous.
Which is why I think some people only listen to one voice, like you were talking about, Rick. He was hearing what Sam was saying and applying it. I mean, when I came up in bodybuilding, it was John Brown's voice that would make me respond. I mean, he'd say certain things and I would respond. But if it was someone else, I wouldn't always get up for that person trying to cheer me on. Reminds me of kind of Mickey and Rocky, right? Stallone hears Mickey and he just goes to another level. And getting him out of his comfort zone, taking him out to Russia to come back, and train in a different way. Not on still cheats.
Yeah.
What a really
do you know what? And that's so important. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Sam.
I was just saying, you're talking about trainers and fighters or trainers and bodybuilders, irrespective of what sport you're in, there has to be a vocal connection, ear to voice connection between both in order for it to work. You know, especially from the fight game, and Bus and Butterbean will tell you this, is that when you're in the ring, irrespective of whether there's 10,000 people or 100,000 people, when your coach talks from the corner, you should be able to hear it crystal clear, irrespective. That's the connection.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Support us on patreon.com for $1.99 a month to watch our full shoot interviews ad-free and help our channel grow. Follow us on Twitter at the Hannibal TV for instant updates.